Hello, 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 and we're live. I actually hit both of the buttons at the right time tonight, so hopefully as you're watching this, everything is in sync. Sometimes I have a bad habit of hitting the stream button, but not the start button on YouTube, but tonight is not the case. So hopefully everybody is having a good week and weekend. Sorry I wasn't here last weekend. I had... I just gotten back from out of town. My kids just got home from being gone for spring break. So we had a lot going on here, and unfortunately, I was not able to go live and do the weekly Sunday night live stream of Awesome. But here today, and sorry I didn't put the notification out earlier. I was editing some more videos. I've got a big video coming out tomorrow. So, yeah, that's taking up most of my afternoon. But hopefully everybody's doing good. Hopefully you had a nice weekend. And... yeah, this daylight savings time stuff really throws me off. Like, it really puts me for a loop. I was walking, inside a minute ago and looked out the window, and it's crazy that, it's 7:30 now and it's bright and still the sun is shining outside, as opposed to before where it's like it's dark at 5:30 or 6 o'clock. So we're definitely into the swing of spring, and yes. So see who we got here so far. We got the Sad Titanic. Welcome. Thank you for being here tonight. Jesse Beausoleil. Hopefully I still remembered how to pronounce that. Thanks for being here. Yes. Yeah, you're first tonight. So, trying to think. A lot of crazy things this last week. The OnePlus 9, OnePlus 9 Pro, those kind of got announced, and they should be available soon. As far as the stuff that I'm seeing online with regard to like initial reviews and stuff, I have some mixed impressions with regard to what I actually think about it. I'm trying not to be one way or the other until I can get my hands on one. I did talk with my contact from OnePlus, and I was not one of the cool people that got one on launch day, but they did put the request in the other day. So hopefully I'll have one in the next week or two. That would be great. I'm a big OnePlus fan. I love the 8T. I love the 8 this last year. The 7 Pro. I didn't get my hands on an 8 Pro. That one, they're still supposed to be sending me that. Even when I talked to my contact last week, they were supposed to have sent it out like twice already. And she's like, it hasn't shown up yet. I'm like, no, it hasn't shown up yet. And I don't even expect it to get like tons and tons of views. I mean, the 8 Pro, yeah, it was a really good phone, but the 9 Pro, those are kind of here now. But I really wanted to be able to contrast them and have a direct look at the 8 Pro with the 9 Pro and all that other good stuff. So I'm hoping to still make some content on that. We'll see what happens. But I'm hopeful I'll get the 9 and 9 Pro soon, or whichever one they send me. Yeah, I feel you there on that, Jesse, but at the same point in time, though, I mean, can you really say that the iPhone 12 Pro Max is really that big of a deal compared to the 11 Pro Max? Or can you say that the S21 Ultra is really that much of a big deal over the S20 Ultra? I mean, once you get so high and you have so many features in there, there's only so much that you can really improve on, especially when they're not going back to the drawing board. So I think that's what the big thing is with the 9 and the 9 Pro. I think a lot of people were expecting like a wow factor. And you look at the 7 Pro, you look at what they did with the 8 Pro. There have been some moments in the last couple of years where OnePlus has really like one-upped themselves, pun intended. And this go around, yeah, it wasn't so much that it was groundbreaking features, or they finally put the IP certification in, they finally put the fast wireless charging in, like they finally put all these things in. The 9 and 9 Pro to me feel, the 9, I'll talk about that in a minute, but the 9 Pro really does feel like just kind of a refined upgrade, very much online with what you would expect from a generational upgrade on Samsung or with Apple. So I don't really have any heartburn in that regard. I think that the biggest thing, too, is they really kind of sold themselves short. Not that the product isn't any good, but I think because people expected, because of all the hype that was around this whole Hasselblad thing, I think people were kind of expecting it to be a bigger deal than it is. So, other than just like some color accuracy and stuff like that. But the pictures largely look good. It's got a big sensor on there for the camera. And, of course, the front-facing selfie camera looks like a potato, right? I don't think there's really any way around saying that it looks like a potato. I mean, you look at what they did with the front-facing selfie camera, it is not impressive for a $1,000 phone. Now, I like that it's $969, if I remember correctly, to get your foot in the door. But, yeah, it's not overly impressive this year, but I don't think it's bad. And I think that the biggest message and the biggest takeaway is, like, OnePlus has finally arrived. And I said this with last year with the 8 Pro. I felt like they really tried to kind of like punch up outside of their weight class to make a statement with that phone and like, look, we got a $1,000 phone, rip the Band-Aid off so that way this year people won't be harping so much on the price tag as, other things. So, I don't know. I think that they're kind of in that space now, and just kind of taking what Lynn Hildebrand is saying down here with the LG. With LG like falling to the wayside, and it looks more and more like there won't be any more LG phones, I think that OnePlus has kind of solidified themselves into that third position. I think in my book, OnePlus is higher on the fan base mark than Pixel is. So I haven't looked at the numbers on that, but I think OnePlus is selling more phones than Pixel. And if you look at the Pixel 5 versus the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro, I think you're largely going to be more impressed with the 9 series all the way around. The Pixel, yes, it's got the 90 hertz refresh rate, and it's also got their great camera, but their camera's not as good as it used to be. So I don't know. We'll see how. I want to see it once it gets out into people's hands. Like I see all the tech reviewer guys, I see all their videos that come out, I see all their hot takes and impressions, but I want to see what it looks like once some people get it in their hands and start tweeting about it on Twitter, and some of the other like grassroots level YouTubers who pay their own money to get these things and feel whether their cost is justified or not. So we'll see what happens. I am interested in it. I'm hopefully going to get one or both. I just got to wait and see what happens with that. So why do I think LG has failed in mobile? Well, LG has failed, largely because they make phones people don't want. If people wanted the phones, then they would be buying them and they would be making money, and LG wouldn't be talking about closing up shop. So you can look at that a lot of different ways, but ultimately the thing is they were not making phones that people wanted, and if they did, they weren't selling them at the price that people were willing to pay for them. You could talk about timing, you could talk about specs that go into them, but largely, as much as I like LG phones, and I really love my LG Wing, I love the V60, I love the Velvet, I think that this is the best year they've had in a very, very long time. So it's very, very frustrating to me that we're in this position, and we may not even see the LG Rollable that was supposed to come out, which I thought was going to be cool. It wasn't going to save LG. No concept phone, no novel form factor, rollable, flip phone, whatever, was going to save LG. But it's one of those things where, if you're there first, it gives you kind of you get to put that flag out and say, look, we did this first. And I think that if LG got that rollable out, it definitely would have helped give them some publicity that they sorely needed. And publicity and marketing is another area where they failed big time because they just never did it right. They didn't put enough into it. And yeah, I think that LG was their own worst enemy a lot of times whenever it came to getting their stuff out there and marketing it properly. So there's a lot of different reasons. I think the most frustrating thing about LG, though, is it's like a voluntary decision. LG makes a ton of money. LG is a huge electronics company. They don't just make phones. They make a ton of money, and they make a ton of products. So to look at it and be like, it's very frustrating that they're taking the phone brand and considering closing up shop. They tried to sell it. Nobody wanted it. But they're hemorrhaging $1 billion a year. It's really hard when you look at a company that's otherwise profitable and is losing $1 billion a year just to be able to compete in the phone space. They're clearly not making that back. So after 5 years of this, it's time to pack up and move on. So we'll see. But yeah, I would really like for them to continue to make phones. I really would. It's very frustrating too because I just finally got them to start sending me phones this last year to review, and it's hooray, I made it, and they're gone. So we'll see. Ronald Hudson, hey, thanks for being here tonight. Also, Brian Payne, just discovered your channel. Glad I did. Well, I'm glad you did too. Hopefully you enjoy the content, and thanks for being here tonight. Typically, I do this every Sunday night at 7:30. I was not able to this last week. I was gone all week for spring break, and then came back, and it was just not able to get it done. But this is a normal Sunday night thing at 7:30 Central Standard Time. Joseph G, do you think it's going to be a slab form factor for the next 2 years? I'm excited for the foldables known to Z Flip, but so many treat it like a fad. I don't think so. I think that you're going to continue to see the standard slabs. Like every brand that makes these foldable phones, these flip phones, these scrollables, these sliders, whatever you want to call them, they're going to continue to make their bread and butter slab phones. But what they're doing is they're testing the waters and trying to find the next big thing. But the thing is, I don't think there's one next big thing. I think there's a lot of next things, and we've got the Samsung Galaxy Fold, we've got the Z Flip, we got the Motorola Razr, we got the Duo. I think what you're seeing is a lot of these companies are kind of trying to stamp their own take on this new trend of different form factors. So I think you'll continue to see the normal phone, but then you'll also see whatever the other company's making as well. So that's just how it is. But with the Z Flip, I love the Z Flip. I've got my Z Flip 5G right here. I've actually got my primary SIM card back in it. I've been using this one for the last couple of days now, and man, they got to get a better battery in this thing. And the battery life before was not like otherworldly amazing. It was never really that great. But I got about 4 hours and 45 minutes, 5 hours of screen on time. I'm barely getting 4 now, and I attribute this to the One UI and the upgrades to One UI 3. And I've said this about a lot of different phones, like with the Note 20 Ultra, with the S21 Ultra. Now with this, I've been getting absolutely terrible battery life ever since One UI 3, 3.1, all that business came out to these different phones. So we'll see. But right now, all the Samsung phones are basically they're really irritating me. A couple other guys here tonight. Chris Horowitz, Retethered Tech. Hey, thanks for being here tonight, buddy. Tom C. Thank you all for taking the time to come hang out here on Sunday night. Hopefully you all had a good week. Hopefully you had a good weekend. Pretty excited about this upcoming week because Godzilla vs. King Kong is coming out, so I'm super excited about that. I did see the new Justice League. Y'all can talk about that if you want down in the comment section. I actually really enjoyed it. I'm glad that they were able to do this whole Snyder Cut thing. I think that it really helped out the movie a lot. The original Justice League was bleh, but it was decent enough, but really wasn't very inspiring or exciting. But I think with the added footage and the explanation with a lot of the backstory and stuff and the character development, it was really a much better movie, even though it was 4 hours long. Now, a lot of people don't like 4-hour movies. I do. I like 3 and 4 hour movies. You don't get enough of them. They have, of course, the more time you have, the better you can tell a story. So, if Zack Snyder made a 2.5 hour version, 2 hour version, I wonder how good that one would actually be, So, anyway, there's that. But really looking forward to Godzilla vs. King Kong. I mean, I love the original one growing up with the dudes in the suits fighting. I used to watch those all the time. I would go to my grandma's house and stay there. And we had Godzilla vs. King Kong, Godzilla vs. the Three-Headed Dragon, Godzilla vs. Mothra. We had all these old Godzilla movies. And Godzilla vs. King Kong was always my favorite. So watching that growing up, even though that was a 50s, 60s movie or whatever, however old it was, it's really exciting for me now to see Godzilla vs. King Kong on the big stage again. Yeah, 4 hours. 4 hours is a lot of movie. I mean, it really is. I think the last one I remember hitting the screen that was really that long, I think was Gods and Generals, and it actually had an intermission built into the movie. But yeah, that was a long time ago. But I think they're going to team up, though, Godzilla and King Kong. I expect to see fighting. Of course, they're going to fight. I think there's some speculation that Mechagodzilla, or whatever his name is going to be in there. So we'll see how it all goes. But I think it's going to be a good movie. I hope so anyway. I think they did a relatively decent job with the last Godzilla, and I think they did a decent job with that Kong Skull Island movie. So we'll see. Hey, Big John, thanks for being here tonight. Welcome, welcome. So, let me see here. Anything you guys want to talk about tonight? I don't have anything too exciting. I have been super busy this week working on stuff. I've got another phone that's coming out tomorrow. I can't talk about it, of course, because it's under NDA that I had to sign to say that I wouldn't talk about it. But I I can say that I have videos coming out tomorrow, but it will be in the afternoon time. So there will not be any videos in the morning. There will be multiple videos tomorrow afternoon, and hopefully I'll like those. And a big thing today, Godzilla vs. Mothra is epic. Today I hit 10 million lifetime views on my channel, which is like a ton. And I was talking to my wife about it earlier because she just got the notification today that she hit 90,000 views on her channel. So she's actually doing really good. She's fixing to hit 1,500 subscribers. Like, it took me a year and a half, I think over a year and a half, to get 1,500 subscribers. It might have taken me 2 years. And my wife has managed to do it in like 4 months. So she's doing a really good job on her channel. But we were talking about that because she got the notification. She's like, oh, wow, I'm at like 90,000 views. And I knew I was coming up on 10 million. So I went and I looked at my phone and it's like, hooray, I hit 10 million today. So it's insane to me, because I remember when I first got started with doing this, and even talking to my wife about wanting to get started, I was like, maybe in like 5 years, I can get 25,000 subscribers, and maybe I'll make X amount of dollars a month, and maybe I'll be a big enough YouTuber that like people will take me seriously, and BlackBerry will finally send me phones. And this was years ago, before I started making videos, and it's like where I kind of thought I was going to be and where I'm at now with my channel is like completely way far ahead of what I thought I was going to be at. But big deal today. I may talk about this next week because I'm coming up on 50,000 subscribers as well soon. So I'll probably do a big live stream for that. But either way, cool stuff. Maybe you can help me figure out how to get the Samsung Pay gesture off the bottom of my S20 Ultra. There is a way to do it. I haven't done it myself, but it does irk me. Like, not every time it happens, I'm like, you know what? I need to figure out how to disable this. I know you can disable it. I have done it before, but the problem is I bounce back and forth between so many phones. I can't remember off the top of my head how to disable the Samsung Pay, but I completely hate it. It drives me up a wall because I'm always, when I open the phone up, trying to swipe up, and then I end up with turning on Samsung Pay, and it's like, this is a no-go. This is really ridiculous. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I need to figure it out myself, and hopefully you can figure it out. I'm sure there is a YouTube video on it. I don't know. I may have to watch a YouTube video on it myself. So we'll see. Joseph G, what does my wife do for YouTube? She makes videos about Tesla. So, one, she's much better looking than I am. She's not missing half of her hairline, and she likes to make videos about Tesla, which she's very passionate about. So, she is going to probably do a lot better than me on YouTube, but that's okay, because we both live in the same house, and having two good channels and two people who like to do this stuff, I'm glad I've been able to help her out. Game Bucks, most underrated YouTuber. Hey, thank you. I don't really, I don't know. I don't really think I'm underrated or overrated or anything. I show up and put my videos out and hope that people like them. And I'm glad that there's people like you who take the time to watch the videos and to tune in here each week and to visit. So that's what's important for me. And whatever you're trying to pay off, trying it will pay off in the end. Wish you good luck. Hey, thanks a lot, Mr. Sad Titanic. Yeah, I don't know. I think the biggest thing with my channel is just, maintaining existence. I'm not like, hey, by the time I get 1 million subscribers, or hey, by the time I get 500,000 subscribers, like what I'm doing right now will largely be what I'm doing a year from now, except just trying to do it better, trying to get better at what I do, trying to put out relevant content that has value that my subscribers and people want to see, and also things that I enjoy. So fundamentally, I don't really see my channel changing much. I'm just glad that people finally started watching. And I think that was the biggest thing for this last year was that, I spent so much time making videos. Like, I've published over 800 videos in less than 4 years. My 4-year anniversary will be July of this year. So it's just one of those things where people just finally started watching. And I'm grateful for that. Gnosis, hello everyone. Hey, thanks for being here tonight. Any news on the new BlackBerry? No. No, sadly I have absolutely nothing to report in that department. And we pretty much kind of blown past all the internal timelines I had set up. Here we are April is just 3 days away, and they said the phone was going to be out in the first half of 2021. So basically, I think at this point, there's really only two things that can happen. Either they announce something in the very, very near future, or they come out in the near future and they say, like, they need to make a statement that, you know, if things are postponed or whatever, they need to give an update. And really, at this point in time, I was kind of encouraged earlier in the year when it was like, hey, we got these new acquisitions. They did a couple little press release things. And, you know, now it's been so quiet for so long, and we're like quickly getting up to the date that they said. I mean, they didn't say a date. They said the first half of 2021. So, yeah, I mean, that's quickly getting here. Like I said, we're about to April. I mean, all we have left, we have till the end of June. June 30th is the end of the, you know, first half of 2021. So I really hope that there is some information soon. If there is any information, and as soon as it comes my way, I will run up the flagpole and tell everybody. But as of right now, kind of in limbo. I mean, it's just kind of how things are. I hope that there will be some new news. But as of right now, I have nothing to share. William Kingston, do I have any worries? I don't really have any worries. I mean, I have concerns. I have frustrations because, yeah, just like you and everybody else, I'm really excited about this phone. I have been waiting for a new BlackBerry for a very, very long time. So it's kind of like one of those things where your parents tell you, hey, kids, we're going to go to Disneyland this summer. And then it gets closer to summer and closer to summer, and they haven't bought any plane tickets, and they haven't paid for the resort yet, and your dad hasn't put in his vacation time. And then it's like, all right, well, yeah, something happened. We don't have the money, so we're not going to be able to go on the trip right now. So I'm not that that's any correlation to what's going on with them, but it's just kind of setting up the same story. Like, I feel like hopefully we'll have something soon because, yeah, August of last year, everybody was real excited, and it was like, hey, you know, we're going to have this new BlackBerry come out, and it's going to be out by the first half of next year. So for the rest of 2020, everyone was like, yay, this is great. And the beginning of 2021, it's like, yay, this is great. And now it's like, yeah, where is it? So hopefully we hear something soon. That would be the best thing, I think. But I have no information or insight on that. What tech sector is supposed to have a big update each year? Was it TVs? I can't remember. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. TVs are on a longer development cycle. Here's how things work with TVs. They come out with a new display format. And remember when like 1080p, like full HD was the big thing. And then it was 4K. And now it's moving on to 8K. Well, the technology comes out and it's like crazy expensive. Nobody can afford it. And then it slowly gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper until it comes to like an adoption rate where there's enough people that have it in their homes that you can supply content for it. That's easier than ever with the streaming services. Like if we relied solely on cable to get us 8K video, it would be like 2040 before we would even get that. So I think that we still have some time to wait before 8K is going to be relevant. I should be getting an 8K TV. TCL is supposed to give me one of their TVs to review later on this year as they come available. So I think I'll get an 8K TV to review later on this year, but yeah, it's definitely nothing right now. I would be like, you need to go buy this. Like, I'm not going to be like, hey guys, go buy this because there's no content. It's just one of those things where it's like a early adopter thing where it kind of gets to the realm of affordability, and it's not really a gimmick because it's going to get better as it moves forward, but at the same time there's not really anything worth watching like 4K was in the beginning. But I think one of the biggest limitations was the getting the content out there. Like when the 4K TVs came out the first 2 or 3 years, there was like nothing to watch, like nothing, period. And now 4K is everywhere. I mean, even on your phone, you get Quad HD Plus. So I think that because everyone now has, theoretically, in mainstream areas, has gigabit access to internet, 5G on their phones, I think that bridge is not something we have to worry about crossing now. It's already there to transport that information. So I think once 8K, I think the adoption rate for 8K will be faster than 4K. But even still, I think the 4K adoption rate is still under like 30%. Don't quote me on that. I'm going to search this real quick. How 4K TV adoption rate. So it looks like in 2020 4K TVs sold about 25 million units, 2% increase. So 4K market share research, it looks like in the United States, let me see. So they're saying that right now in 2021, 35% of homes have a, let me see. Yeah, it looks like about 30% of homes have a 4K TV right now. They're saying that by time we get to 2024, 35% of TVs in home, 35% of homes will have a 4K TV. So if 8K is coming out right now, and they're already looking at 2024, saying in 2024, 35% of homes will have a 4K TV, it's probably going to be 2030 before 30% of TVs in people's homes are 8K. I mean, probably even beyond that, realistically. And it's funny, though, yeah, as much as I was excited about 4K, and as much as I was excited about 1080p, like, how much of a difference can people really tell? And especially if you need to have a larger TV. Because this kind of goes back to one, viewing distance, size, display, like dots per, pixels per inch, all that good stuff, DPI. What is the optimum viewing range, and at what size can you really tell the difference? Because you can't even tell the difference with your eyes on a phone from 1080p to Quad HD Plus on a screen that's under 5.3 inches. So I'd imagine that you got to have at least a 60-inch TV to be able to tell the difference between a 4K and an 8K TV in the first place. So, I don't know. Sorry, I went way off too much of a tangent on that. But, yeah. But I got a new TV. And I'll have a review coming out on that. I bought an LG TV. I wanted one that would do 120 hertz and HDMI 2.1, so I could play Call of Duty on 120 frames per second at 4K. It is very nice, by the way. But I'm going to be reviewing this TV too. We'll see how that goes. Let me see. I think the best thing you can do is targeting mid-range phones like $100 to $600. Yeah, I cover a lot of phones that are much less expensive, and there was a lot of conversation going on between a lot of the tech community on Twitter this last week talking about embargo dates, because you have some people, we have an embargo date. So if you're not familiar with that, let's say I've got a phone that is not out yet officially, and let's say that it's going to come out theoretically tomorrow. Well, there's 100 of us that are all going to be putting out the same unboxing video, the same review video, the same whatever tomorrow at X time. So it makes it really hard to get views, because you've got the MKBHDs, you've got the iJustines, you've got the Austin Evans, you've got the Lou with the Unbox Therapy. So those guys have millions and millions and millions of subscribers, and then let's say Adam J. Matlock TechOdyssey is like 10 down on their subscriber list. Well, we're all going to put the same video out at the same time, and nobody's going to see mine. So that's one of those things that ties into that $100 to $600 price point. A lot less people cover phones in the budget price or the mid-tier price as opposed to the flagship. Like, everybody covers the flagship phone. So, like, I can put out, for instance, the Poco X3 Pro came out last week. I put out 3 videos at once. I put out a full review, which got hardly any views. I put out my camera review with my vlog stuff in Las Vegas. I really love that video. Put a ton of work into it. No views. And then I also put out a gaming review, which took off. And it's got 60,000 views in 6 days, which is uncanny for me. So if you make videos and put them out for the day one launch when the embargo comes out, and if you do a camera review, if you do a full review or an unboxing, I can guarantee you all 3 of those videos are going to get crushed by all the other people that have significantly more subscribers and audience. But if you make something more creative, like the gameplay review video, or if you do like a camera comparison video, or if you do like a tips and tricks video, then that stuff does a lot better because it gets outside of that initial algorithm push, and then you'll get views. But yes, looking at the mid-tier sector space, a lot less of the big mainstream guys cover that stuff, so it kind of creates an opening for me and other channels. So, I mean, yeah, I could get a lot more traction in that area, but I like to cover everything. Any word on where there'll be a Microsoft Surface Duo? Yes, it's been pretty much confirmed. I mean, Microsoft hasn't said anything, but there is a lot of credible stuff out there saying that we're going to get a Duo 2. It's going to have 5G. It's going to have like a better camera and some other stuff. So I'm really excited about that because I love the Duo as a concept. I didn't like the first one. I thought it had some problems. I ended up returning mine because mine did have problems. I was very concerned about the plastic. So I will get the Duo 2 when it comes out, and it is going to happen as far as I'm concerned. So I'm really looking forward to that. Realme 8 Pro or Poco X3 Pro. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about the Realme 8 Pro. I don't work with them, and I've never bought one of their phones before. I've heard good things. I know that Unbox Therapy covered it. I got a notification on that, so I would say I'll refer you to go check out Lou's video to get some impressions on it, but I personally don't know anything about it. I have Xfinity cable and internet. Those are very good. My internet go out yesterday. Sorry about that, Bobby. Yeah, I had a lot of problems with my internet after all the freeze stuff here a couple of weeks ago, so I feel your pain. Terrence, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but I'll just call you Terrence. I fear a delay. Is 3 months really enough time to market and distribute a new phone? Yeah, totally. And here's the thing. Whenever they announce this stuff, like you look at Samsung, you look at Apple, the stuff just shows up. I mean, it's not like you put it out and there's a 3-month campaign. They just put it out, and then they make sure that it's available. So they could put it out on June 28th as far as I'm concerned, and it would be just as fine. So I'm not worried about that. I reluctantly had to buy a mid-price Samsung arriving this Wednesday, so 31 days, and I expect Onward Mobility to announce my dream phone. Yeah, that's usually how it works. It's like you finally decide to buy something, and then like right after you buy it, without fail, like a week after the return date, then the one you were waiting for comes out. That's happened to me so many times. But what Samsung did you get? Hopefully you like it. Ed, hey, thanks. And you're not fashionably late. You're perfectly on time. Ethan Games, hello. Thanks for being here tonight. Ed, I unsubscribed from Unbox Therapy, the other guy, because I got tired of the same old content like real-world reviews where the reviewer uses the device for more than a day. Yeah, and that's the thing. I am very, very protective with what I call a review on a video, because if I haven't had at least like a week to 2 weeks to touch the phone, like if I know that I've got the phone and it's coming out in a week, then I will dedicate a lot of time. I'll put my SIM card in it. I will use it as my daily driver. And that way I can feel like I can give you a realistic review. I've been able to use it through a couple battery cycles to get it past that initial like battery rundown whenever you first set everything up because of all the processes. Test out some games. Test out the speakers. How is it from day to day to performance? So I'm not just going to get a phone and then like 2 days later make a full review. And some people do that. And if somebody feels comfortable on their conscience saying they reviewed something in a very, very condensed time frame, then that's between them and their followers. But if I haven't had at least a week, and usually I like at least like 10 to 14 days, then yeah, I'm not going to attach the word review onto there and say I reviewed it. I might make a camera review. I might make a video game review. Like, review is a very, like, malleable word. You can use it for a lot of things. But saying that you have fully reviewed a phone, that's a big thing. Because you're saying, like, I have completely tested out this phone. Here's what I think. And that's not something that I feel like you can do in, like, 24, 48, 72 hours. So, that's just that. Let me see. Joseph G. I unsubbed Unboxed long ago. Personality and reactions seem fake. Use clickbait. So, I don't want to say anything bad about the guy. And I will say, though, like, I originally hated Unboxed Therapy. Like, when I first started watching his videos, I'm like, who is this punk? Like, I really don't like his attitude. I say punk, I mean, I'm almost 40. I'm 37 years old. I spent like 16 and a half years in the military. I used to call people like kid all the time. They'd be like 30. But whenever I've been through a lot of life. So like that guy, I don't even know how old Lou is. He looks like he's probably about my age. But still, when I first started watching his videos, I'm like, who is this guy? Like, the only reason I really watched him was because he had all the stuff first. So when I wasn't reviewing things, because I actually, just between me, you, and the camera, I don't watch a lot of tech reviews. One, I don't watch them because I don't want them to skew my opinion on stuff. Like, I want to have an organic experience when I get a phone experience for myself and not be like, oh yeah, I did this, or I did that, or I paid attention to this. I want to experience it for myself. It's like going and watching a movie. Like, I don't want to watch something after somebody's already told me what's going to happen. Like, if somebody had already seen Godzilla versus King Kong, like, oh yeah, A, B, and C, I would be primed. My brain would be primed to look at that stuff whenever it comes on the screen. I'd be like, when should I expect this? When should I expect that? So I like to wait till after I have already got my phones or my product that I'm reviewing. I'll review it, and then I'll look at other people's stuff after I publish my video. Exception being like right now, where I'm really curious about the OnePlus 9 and the 9 Pro because I don't have them yet. But I guess that's one other thing you can take to the bank is if you do watch a Lou video, it definitely isn't in depth, so you don't feel like you're really missing out on you don't feel like you're being swayed one way or the other. It's just eye candy and information. So yeah, I appreciate what he does, and when you look at like what he does, I'm not gonna try and take away from what they do because he does a good thing. He has made a lot of headway in the community, in the tech space, and in YouTube, putting this stuff out there to see, like, you know, really making some headway for people like me. They're like a trailblazer, somebody who's gone out and laid the path for me to be able to, like, be taken seriously. Like, yeah, everybody's different. So if you watch my channel, you watch somebody else's channel, if that's the beauty of it. You can, some people like my videos, some people don't. Some people like me, some people like other people. So I think the best thing to do is kind of have a couple different people that you like for different things, and that way you have something that's honest that you can trust, and you know, enjoy the experience of how it's presented in different ways. You know, it's not a one size fits all. It's not a cookie cutter, you know, approach. It's one of those things where everybody kind of has their way of looking at things. I like to look at stuff from a technical perspective, but I also like to look at it from an economic perspective, a daily usage perspective. But, you know, everybody kind of looks at things different. Like, I can look at a phone and immediately there will be things that jump out to me that will jump out to somebody else in another way. So that's the great thing about having like a couple different people that you follow for things. But also, there's not everybody out there like me. Like, I love all phones. But somebody like some people that are watching me, they could be like, well, yeah, I like BlackBerry, but I don't like iPhone. Or I like iPhone, but I don't like Samsung. And I like all of them, so I cover all of them. So, yeah, there are certain things that, you know, if you like all phones, then this is the place for you to be. If you like BlackBerry, this is the place for you to be. Because I love BlackBerry probably more than anybody in the YouTube space. And it's I will make that claim. Somebody can argue that with me, but I love BlackBerry. But I also love other phones, so that's what you get here. Let me catch up here. Sorry, I talk fast. Samsung S20 FE. Hey, the FE is a very good phone. I mean, if you look at it, MKBHD said that was his phone of the year for 2020. My phone of the year for 2020 was the OnePlus 8T, but they're very, very similar. Very, very similar phones. So I don't think you can go wrong with the S20 FE. I think it's a very, very good phone. Sorry, I can't watch two live channels at the same time. Strength, BlackBerry Forever. I literally just thought to myself, I wonder if there's any news on the new BlackBerry. I should check TechOdyssey, and here you are live talking about it. Well, glad I could help, Brian Miller. Yeah, so if you're not familiar, I'm here every Sunday night, with a few exceptions, but Sunday night at 7:30, this is my time to sit down, talk tech, talk with you guys. That's what I do. But yes, there's, of course, no new information right now, but hopefully something soon. It's morning in India. Hey, Ryu Gaming. Well, thanks. I'm glad. I actually have got a lot of new viewers here in India recently, especially after covering the Redmi phone, covering the Xiaomi phones, the Poco phones. I'm glad that I'm able to work with them now, because not only does it give me exposure to these really cool phones like the Poco phones, the Xiaomi phones, the Redmi phones, but also, you know, it gives me an opportunity to engage with a wider audience, because, of course, you guys over in India and Asia care much more about those phones than other ones. So that's another nice thing. Like, if you like certain phones but you don't know about other phones, it's great to follow a channel like mine, because I cover a wide range of stuff. I cover Poco, I cover Xiaomi, I cover Redmi, I cover Samsung, BlackBerry, iPhone, LG. I cover a lot of different brands, whereas a lot of these other big channels, they may only cover Samsung, they may only cover iPhone, you know, whatever. So that's just one of the other benefits of hanging out here is I cover a lot of stuff. And it's not just like one video. I usually make quite a few. And Mike Morales, good morning from the Philippines. Well, hello there. Hopefully everything's going good over in the Philippines today. Joseph G, I make YouTube videos for my company. I think I'm filming more than editing. What about you? It really depends. When you look at the style of video that I make, it's not super flashy. It's more conversational. It's more like kind of one-on-one audience, conversational kind of tone. And that's something I've always kind of wanted to do. Like, I love this stuff. I like to be able to sit down. Yes, if I have a big review or I have a big product review, I will have B-roll. But a lot of my videos, it's just me talking to the camera, to you guys, and telling y'all what I think about stuff. So it really depends on what you're doing. If you are like making really technical stuff or making how-tos or making like presentations to explain things to people, then yes, you probably need more things in the editing department. But it just depends on style and the type of content that you're making. Ed, you probably do hold the BlackBerry champ now. Even Crackberry abandoned BlackBerry content. Well, I mean, if you go to Crackberry, you can find out there's a lot of ad stuff on there. I don't spend a lot of time in Crackberry anymore. I spent a ton of time in there, like probably from 2010 to like 2017. Like every day I was in Crackberry. I spent a ton of time in there. I was very active in there. I actually even wrote tons of articles in the community review section. Like you can go there. I wrote tons of them. I used to be very, very embedded with those guys with Mobile Nations. I was a ambassador for BlackBerry. I was a content reviewer as far as the community review team. But I wrote tons and tons, probably 180 different articles between Windows Central, Android Central, iMore, and Crackberry. I very much appreciate what they do and what they did. I'm hoping that there will be a revitalization of Crackberry once the new phone comes out. We'll see. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know what Blaze has up his sleeve along with those guys. But I fully expect that there will be a little bit of a ramp up once that comes online. Because that's been the big thing. Crackberry's been sitting there for a long time and there hasn't been a new phone in 3 years almost. So you can only sit around the water cooler and talk about the same thing for so long before people start losing interest, So I think that once a new phone comes out, it'll be big for them. It'll be big for me too. I mean, I love BlackBerry, and as much as I like talking about things like my old 7100G, I mean, I really am expecting and waiting for a new one, and I'm looking it will be great when the new one comes out because I'm going to make a ton of content. I'm going to make the review, the unboxing, the camera review, the tips and tricks, the 5 things I like about it, the 5 things I don't like about it. I am going to make a ton of videos about it because that's one of the reasons y'all are here. And I originally started my channel making BlackBerry videos, so that's why I got into making them. And yes, I love covering everything else, but BlackBerry is my bread and butter. It's my favorite. It's what I enjoy. So I cannot wait until I have a super, super awesome modern BlackBerry in my hand again that I can use every day and don't have to worry about switching my SIM cards out and bouncing back and forth between them and other phones. T20, I've been eligible for an upgrade for 4 months waiting for BlackBerry phone. Still haven't seen an update. Yeah, I don't have anything new to pass on right now. I'm hoping that we'll hear something soon. It's just kind of in a holding pattern right now. Mike Morales, I have a generation gap from BlackBerry as I used iPhone after using my Z10. Now I bought a Classic online last week to detox in social media. Thank you for bringing me back into BlackBerry world. Hey, I'm really glad I made that video too. I had to put some effort into it, but as soon as I saw that hey, BlackBerry world is dead, but you have to do this to try and still get access to it. I had to go through some work for that to get it to work, but I'm glad I made that video because I've had so many people that I've been able to help. So I'm glad for that. I'm glad that your phone is working again. I hope it has a good camera, also not overpriced as usual. Well, I don't have any insight on any of that other than they have said that they are putting a flagship camera in it. So flagship camera, if you look at what you see in Pixel, if you look at what you see in Samsung, and iPhone, and OnePlus, they're all pretty good right now. So that to me is what flagship level camera means. So if their camera meets those standards, I will be ecstatic. Neil Wolf, you're playing on my 86-inch TV right now. Yeah, I see myself over on the side here in like my little like 8-9 inch window, and I can only imagine what looking at me on an 86-inch TV right now looks like. Hopefully it's a good experience. Joseph G, okay, so the concept of the DJI race drone looks so cool, but is it really just getting the same exploration feel of Google Earth, or do you think it's really worth all the money? So, if you look back there, I have a big box sitting on my desk. I got the DJI FPV. I paid out the rear for this thing. I paid a ton of money for this thing. And I have absolutely loved it. It is so fun flying that thing around. I had that PowerVision PowerEgg X, and it was okay. I mean, it was a decent flying experience, especially for somebody with not a lot of experience. But I fired this sucker up, and it is like a whole new world. It's like Aladdin and Jasmine in the Disney movie. Like, let me show you a whole new world. The DJI FPV does that. If you have not ever like flown a drone before, like there's like drone flying and then there's like FPV flying, and the refresh rate is ridiculous. It's like instantaneous live feed in 4K right at your eyeballs with that headset on while you're flying around. And this thing goes up to like 90 miles per hour and does flips. It does flips. But it's supposed to be like a 22-minute battery. The only way you're going to get that is like a lot of slow flying and hovering. I put it on sport mode, not manual mode. So I was flying about 55 miles per hour yesterday, and I flew it for about 13 minutes and got down to like 1% battery left. So yeah, it is a very, very capable drone. It has a lot of battery for an FPV drone, but the 4K video on it is really good. The flying is phenomenal, and it's an easy setup. So if you want to pay the money for it, I think you're going to enjoy it. But it's a matter of, do you want to pay like $12.99 plus for a drone, and then like it's like an extra $150 per battery. It's like $300 for 2 batteries. So 2 more. I'm going to get some more batteries. But the flying experience doesn't last very long, but it is a ton of fun. Neil Wolf, I literally watch you every day. Well, hey, I am literally very thankful that you watch me every day. I appreciate it. I really appreciate all the support. It's all good. The Key 1's holding up just fine. I love the Key 1. Like, if they could have made the Key 2 like look and feel more like the Key 1, but with the improvements, I would have loved it. Like the Key 1 Black Edition, I love that phone. The keyboard is a little small, and the buttons are a little hard to press compared to the Key 2 and the LE, but I think the black one looks really sharp. Best phone of 2021 so far, I would say the S21 Ultra. I absolutely love the phone. The only problem is like I'm experiencing battery life issues, but some people are not. So 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. But the phone itself, I feel like the S21 is probably the best phone they've like ever made. It's a really good phone, and I really enjoy using it. Do you think the S Fold 2 will ever get an update that lets us use DeX on it like we can with the Tab S7 Plus? I don't know. I don't know what the hesitation is there. I honestly think that it has kind of something to do with parsing out the purposes for the phones. Like, the whole allure of getting a fold is so you can use the folding experience. The allure of the flip is the flipping experience. And you and I both know that they have the hardware in them. I mean, the SD865 Plus is a very capable processor, very powerful. So, and they even just put DeX on the Tab S6 Lite, which I didn't think was going to happen. So, looking at all that, I think it's intentional that it's not there. I can't say that I will expect it at this point, especially since they're both more than capable of it. And I think maybe moving forward, I did say in my prediction for the next Z Flip, I think they need to put it in there. DeX is getting to be one of those like household things, like a household item where people are really kind of starting to expect it. So I hope that they put it in the next Z Flip. Retroactively, it would be really nice if it had it in like the Fold. The Z Flip, I understand, it's got a 3300 milliamp battery. Really not powerful enough to be using all day and then take some time out of your day to use DeX. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But, yeah, I think it's more of they kind of want to keep the Fold, even though it's supposed to be like the most amazing productivity phone you can get. So, I don't know. It's a little contradictory that it's not, but we'll have to see moving forward. Kamal, Jamali, hey, see you soon as well. Thanks for being here. Joseph G, on the DJI drone, does the wind beat it up a lot? Surprisingly, no. I had about 15-mile-an-hour winds yesterday, and I still flew the sucker a mile in the air at about 150, 200 feet, and it handled it just fine. Like, you can't even hardly tell. The only time you can really tell, like, is when you're flying around, and if you get some wind gusts, like, you can kind of see it for a second, and you can tell that it's putting some wind pressure on the drone, but no, it doesn't toss it around at all. The DJI FPV is very capable of balancing itself and dealing with the wind. What do you think the ROM on the new BlackBerry would be like? Do you think it would be close to stock Android or pretty customized? I don't know. I would really love to see mostly stock. I would like them to stay as far away from the current skin stuff that's on there already, because I think that it's really dated. And I said this before, like, I'm going to be really pissed if it shows up and it's got the same background on it that the Priv has, like so many other phones did. So hopefully they've got a new background. That would be really nice. Maybe that would be a great way for them to put a little onward mobility sticker on there and, you know, mark it as their own. But I really am hoping to see a little bit of a refreshed UI. Z Fold 2 has better specs than the Tab S7 Plus. Yeah, it does. It really does. Yeah, it's not a hardware issue. It's totally a design choice by Samsung. Question, I want to get an iPhone. Should I go to Amazon Renewed or get a new one for full price? Well, that really depends on what the actual price is. If you can get one on like a good deal or a trade-in or a special that is like through a carrier or through Apple, maybe go that route. If you're just looking to save money, you're not trading anything in, the Amazon Renewed ones are a very good way to go. They also have the 90-day return period too. It's not like 90-day warranty. It's like day 89, something is wrong with it, you send it back. So there's a lot of comfort that you can take in buying an Amazon Renewed product. If a problem is going to pop up, likely it's going to be in the first 3 months. Wait for BlackBerry or you will kick yourself. Yeah. iPhone really depreciates in value, so I don't think it matters. Yeah, the thing with iPhones, if you're getting one that's like a year old, they are even 2 years old, they don't drop in price a lot. Like, they do a little bit, but it's not like Samsung where it's like, here, they're going to charge $1,300 for, you know, the S21 Ultra, and then, or, you know, the S20 Ultra at $1,399, and then a year later you can get it for $650. So you're not going to find sweetheart deals like that. It just doesn't work that way. Francie, I sure missed the replaceable battery on the Z10. I have mixed feelings about it. I do like the replaceable battery from the perspective that you can just toss another battery in there and instantly be 100%. There's no charging capability yet that can replace that. But then you have something like OnePlus that can give you 100% charge in like 40 minutes. So, I mean, quick charge these days is pretty good, along with the fact that most phones have over 4,000 milliamp batteries in them, at least for the, well, for most phones now, really. Most phones can get you through an entire day without problem nowadays. It's not like before where the phone would be dead in like 2 or 3 hours of actual screen on time, and then it would take 3 or 4 hours to recharge it. So now you get all-day battery, sometimes 2-day battery performance, and you can recharge it in the scope of an hour and a half usually. So I do like that, but also, you know, there are other problems that come along with it. They have to leave so much space. There's less design things that they can do, because like with the Z Flip with Samsung, there's like a split battery, parts in the top and parts in the bottom. So I think it really depends, and that's a very like narrow place those fit nowadays. Yeah, Apple also sells refurbished phones, which, yes, are basically brand new and still have the 1-year warranty. Also, you can get Apple Care. Marge S., hey, you're live. Yes, I am live. Every Sunday at 7:30 Central Standard Time, unless something comes up. The Z Fold 3 better have 16 gigs of RAM and 512s of storage. So I'm going to go ahead and like burst your bubble right now. I'm fairly certain that the Z Fold 2 is still only going to have 256. I don't think it will have 512. 16 gigs of RAM, maybe. I don't really see the point. 12, you're not even touching 12. So I don't know. I don't really see the whole 12 gigabyte RAM thing is really more like a marketing selling point to me. It's not really something that I think is all that helpful. Yes, live. I am live and alive. Those are both great things. 120 locked refresh rate would be nice too. Yeah, so the LTPO screen is nice, but it is a variable refresh rate. I would really like to see a straight 120 hertz as well. That would be great. But of course, that's going to tear up your battery life. Retro Collector, hey, thanks for being here. Got here just in time because I'm going to wrap up shop here in about 5 minutes. I can't stay too long tonight and visit because I've got 2 more videos I got to wrap up tonight. A lot of work, but I've got one completely done. I've got 2 more I'm trying to get done. It's part of the strategy that I have. But we'll see how it pays off tomorrow. What's that GIF say from Dodgeball? It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it pays off. I want my new BlackBerry. Yes, I do too. They do it on the S21 Ultra, so why not in their most expensive phone? You know, it's very, very peculiar how they do some of that stuff. Like, why put 16? Why put 12? It's like, well, if you go to 512, you get 16 gigs of RAM, but what are you really getting in the benefit wise? It's just like, it's just an extra reason that they have an arbitrary separation. Like 12 gigs of RAM matters about as much as 16. Neither one of them, you're not going to touch that with anything you're doing on a phone. So I don't really see the point that way, but if they're going to charge you an extra $100, they might as well give you extra RAM and more storage space. And I got to be honest with you, it costs them like pennies. It really doesn't cost that much to toss in the extra RAM and the extra storage space. It might cost them $2 or $3, and they're charging you an extra $100, $200 for it. What am I expecting from the new BlackBerry, like specs-wise, also maybe design-wise as well? Well, I'm fully expecting flagship specs. I think we're going to see some sort of an 8 series processor. I've said for the longest time that I thought that it would be at least a 765, but since they hammered down really on that flagship word, flagship to me means 8 series processor. It means flagship quality camera. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like maybe an 870. Like, you look at what we've got now with the 860, which is basically an 855. It's only like 120 hertz faster on the prime core. But yeah, it's funny that they're kind of rehashing the 855 and I think the 865 when it comes to the 860 and the 870. But they're very formidable, very good processors. I really wouldn't bat an eyelash at them, but also doesn't have 5G, at least in the 860. So, but they are saying 5G. So, yeah, I mean, maybe you'll have like an 865 in it. I mean, the 865 is a very, very good processor. I'm not necessarily expecting like a 888. I mean, if they do that, that'd be amazing. And anything we get that's flagship caliber, every single one of those, a checkbox in the win category for me. So, yeah, I think it's going to have a fairly large screen. Of course, it's got a physical keyboard. So whatever they want to do with that, I mean, it's just one of those things where I've kind of been hoping for like kind of like a classic, but like bigger and wider. But, you know, everybody's kind of got different things that they want. So we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. When are pitching the BlackBerry Wing? I'm going to make that video. And it feels so natural to me. Like, the idea, like, when you get that 3-point-whatever screen on the bottom, 3.7 inch, something like that, 3.9 inch, that little screen on the phone, it's really cool to me when it flips out to the side. That would be perfect for a physical keyboard. Like, it really would. So, I really like that idea. Not even all the 512 gig models of S21 Ultra come with 16 gigs of RAM, so it makes no sense how they do. Yeah, no sense to me whatsoever. If you were trying, figure that out, it's an exercise in futility. And all right, wow, we're at 58 minutes already. It goes by so fast. I mean, I know I sit here and I talk really fast, but yeah, it takes it goes by quick. So I'm going to go ahead and I guess call it. I'm getting ready to wrap up shop here, and yeah, we got 41 current viewers right now. I think I upset a few people last week because I wasn't here. Normally have like 60, 70 people in here. So short, quiet night, but hopefully y'all all had a wonderful weekend, and I hope y'all have a wonderful Monday tomorrow. Drink lots of coffee. I'll be back next Sunday at 7:30. I'm aiming for 3 videos tomorrow afternoon. It may not be something that interests you, but the videos will be there. And hopefully should be doing the normal show on Wednesday, Unhinged Tech. Dan was having some medical problems the last couple of weeks, but I think he's about back to normal. So I do anticipate that we'll be doing our normal show on Wednesday night. Even if he doesn't, I probably will. And yeah, you showed up very, very late to the party, CH Gadgets. But thanks for being here. Everybody, thanks for showing up tonight. and it's always great to visit with you. So, yeah, we'll be back again next week. Thanks for being here, William Kingston. Thanks for all of you. And that's what he said. That's what he said. And Rahm Emanuel as well. And also for next week, I will be sure to put out the announcement a little bit earlier to let you guys know that the live stream is happening. But unless something happens, it will be happening next Sunday at 7:30. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button on the way out the door if you haven't already done that. I hope you all had a great time tonight, and it's always great to hang out with you guys. But thanks again for your time. Have a great rest of your evening. Have a great day, and see you guys later.